Good morning students, welcome to the session on operating system. Okay, in our third unit we are going to discuss about the memory management, I can say, in which we will be dealing about the main memory as well as the secondary memory. We will be dealing how we will be storing the files, how we will be retrieving the files, how we will be storing the data, and how it is managed, and how the memory addresses will be given. Those kind of information we are going to see in our third unit. Okay, in that the first beginning strategies, whatever the strategies that we have to know about the memory, that we are going to discuss in our today's session, I can say. In that you need to remember the memory is the control of your system, I can say. It consists of huge array of bytes, each with address. Okay, it will be having each with its address. The memory will be consisting of array of bytes, okay, in which each will be having its own address, so that whenever we are executing the instructions, we will be taking the instructions from these particular addresses. In order to access them, we will be having the addresses. By using the addresses, we will be accessing the contents. Okay, an instruction execution cycle will initially fetch the instruction. Whenever a program is going to execute in your system, first we need to take out those particular programs from your disk and we need to fetch it to memory. Okay, in this we need to fetch the program. After fetching it, we need to decode the program. That need to be understandable by your operating system. We need to decode the program and then we need to execute the program. These are the steps in order to execute your programs, I can say. Okay, we need to understand this. Fetching is nothing but taking the program and giving it to the main memory, I can say, in order to execute. Decoding the program will be decoding, or else it will be making the program understandable by your system, I can say, and executable file will be executed at the runtime. Okay, these are the things you need to remember. And address binding should be done in order to execute the program. A program is placed on the disk must be in the form of binary executable form. Okay, whenever we are putting the program onto your memory, it need to be in the executable form, or else executable form is binary coded form, I can say, object code, I can say, which will be executed by your system. Those will be kept in your memory, and each and every instruction should have its address. Okay, and then see, in generally, user processes can be placed in the part of physical memory with the address assigned to it. Though the starting address of the physical address is 000, we will be assuming that we will be having the addresses from 000 to something else. But in generally, it won't happen. We will be storing some operating systems instructions itself. Okay, we will be executing some processes, system processes. Okay, we will be not having the instructions, or else we will be not having the memory locations from 000. We will be assuming that we will be having the memory locations from 000, and then we will be starting our execution. But it won't happen in this case. We will be having somewhere in your register, we will be having some register. From those register, we will be taking the addresses from your memory, and we will be adding the logical memory, or as a logical address, I can say, that have been given by your CPU. Okay, now let us try to understand what is logical and physical addresses. Now this is your logical and physical address. Logical address is the address which is generated by your CPU, also referred as virtual address. Virtual address means imaginary, I can say. Okay, this will not exist in your memory, but it will be created by your CPU in order to understand by the user, I can say. A logical address is defined by your CPU, and physical address is the address, or else is actual memory unit, I can say, loaded into the memory address register. Or else simply, in other words, I can say, physical address is defined as the actual address where the data instruction is present. Okay, both the addresses are common in some or the other way, but whenever we are executing the instructions, we will be taking the instructions from the physical addresses, I can say. Logical addresses will give the assumption, okay, in which we are taking the instruction, in which we are executing the instructions, I can say. Okay, logical and physical addresses are same at compile and load time, but and physical addresses differs in execution time. Why? Because logical and logical is nothing but the imagination, I can say. Physical is nothing but the original. Okay, they will differ when we are executing the instructions. Okay, at the runtime mapping will be done so that logical addresses, whatever the logical addresses generated by your CPU will get the physical addresses. Mapping should be done from your logical address to physical address so that it can take the instruction from your memory. That will be taken care by your memory management unit, MMU, I can say. Okay, and see, in case of memory mapping conversion from logical to physical addresses through the hardware, user programs assume that they are associated with the logical address only, but need to be allocated with the physical addresses before accessing the memory. Okay, whatever the memory that you are accessing, before accessing it, you need to reallocate, or else I can say your people will be logically connected with your physical addresses, I can say, by using the logical addresses generated by your CPU. Okay. And see, in order to execute our instructions, we need to know few more terminologies. I can say that is memory management terminology, that is dynamic loading and dynamic linking and shared library. Already you people might have come across this particular terminology in case of C language. I can say that you people will be knowing how we are going to execute the programs. Okay, execution procedure you might have seen. Dynamic loading is a method use it to carry out the memory space utilization efficiently. Since the size of the process depends on the size of physical memory, there are situations wherein the data required for executing a process requires more space, the space available in the physical memory. It means to say that our memory will be in an it will be not in an efficient manner, I can say, when we are talking about the main memory. Main memory will be a limited memory, I can say, and in order to execute the program, it may need huge data that is available in your disk. But in this dynamic loading, what we are going to do is we will be accessing the data, we will be accessing the instructions whenever it is required. If it is not required, we won't be accessing it into your main memory. Okay, if it is not required, we will be throwing it into the disk and then we will be accessing it. Okay, to overcome this, whatever the discussion that we have done, dynamic loading is used. It stores the data associated with the process in the main memory in such a way that it can relocate it. This approach results in executing the program routine only when it is called. Okay, as I said you people, when it is called, when the program is calling for something, okay, then only it will be accessing those, or else it won't access those particular data. Advantage is that the routines that are required are not loaded into the main memory, so that the memory space will be free for other processes. Okay, it is used while handling the error routines. Okay, it won't take any help from your operating system. It is completely independent of your operating system, I can say. So dynamic loading is very useful in order to execute the program. And dynamic linking. See, linking, when we are talking about the linking, you can consider a form where we will be having the header files. Whenever a program is executed, when the header file is required, then only I will be accessing those particular header files and I will be linking them to my program until or unless it is required, until or unless it is called, then I won't take that into my main memory. So that memory space will be available for other programs also. Why? Because we need to use the maximum extent of our CPU, I can say. In order to attain that, we are going to do the dynamic linking. Dynamic loading, dynamic linking, almost all it is similar, but in this case, dynamic linking, we are going to store our header files, I can say, library files, I can say, in some other part of the disk. Okay, so when it is called, we will be taking the pointer in order to locate those particular header files. Say, consider if I am storing the pointer for your header files, then whenever it is required, the pointer will be called. At that particular pointer, we will be having the library files, we will be accessing them and we will be performing the operations. Okay, in this way we will be using this. This feature is eliminating the requirement of including language libraries associated with the program. It won't include this all header files. Okay, whenever it is required, it will be including the header files. If it is not required, then it will be eliminated from the main memory. Okay. And see, this can be done by using a small code called stub. Okay. Eliminating your header files, library files, and putting them and taking back whenever it is required. That will be done by using the stub code. It will be taking out the library functions which are not required, and whenever it is required, it will be taking out from the disk by using the stub code, I can say. Okay, and then next we are having shared libraries. While fixing the bugs in libraries, there can be two types of modification, major and minor. Major modifications such as change in the program address. Okay, completely you can change the address of the program in this shared one. Okay, whereas in some cases we will be having minor issues where we will be not having any big bugs, I can say. Minor bugs fixes, not changes its addresses. In this particular one, we will be having shared libraries, I can say. Okay. And this is how we will be having the terminologies related to your dynamic loading and linking and shared libraries. Okay. And then we are having one more terminology, that is swapping. Already we have discussed in the case of context switching, but try to understand what is a swapping. Okay. See, this is the disk where we are having number of processes, and your operating system will take care what process should be executed, what process should be taken into the main memory. Okay, but whenever we are considering the main memory, whenever considering the memory, it will be of a limited space. Okay, when we are having number of processes into this, okay, if highest prioritized process comes into the existence, then you need to preempt some process. When you are preempting it, if you are holding it in the main memory, then there will be no memory for the new process which is coming into your main memory. In order to not happen that, we are going for the swapping. Okay, in a multi-programming environment, blocked and ready. Okay, processes can be temporarily swapped out of main and secondary memories. Secondary memory, I can say, or else this type. Okay, back in store where the actual instructions will be there. This can be done in few cases, I can say. Swapping can be done in few cases, like if time quantum of the process exists. Okay, if say suppose P1 is having 30 seconds, if it is not executing within the 30 seconds, then P1 should be taken from your main memory. Okay, and if some highest priority, as I have told you before, if the highest prioritized process comes into the existence, lowest priority process should be eliminated from your memory so that highest prioritized process will be executed. When any interrupt occurs while executing the processes, okay, process is put into the wait state for performing IO operations, input-output operations. When it is waiting for IO devices, then there is no use of being in a main memory. At that particular time also, we will be coming out from your main memory and we will be putting that into the backing store, or this I can say. That is your swapping. Okay, whenever a process which is swapped out from your main memory, and these processes will be kept into the queue. Okay, here in the disk only we will be maintaining a queue. Say suppose P1 first made out from your main memory, then P1 will be kept into the queue, then P2, then P3. Like this, we will be maintaining the queue in the disk. Okay, so that when they are ready to execute, again the queue will be maintained. Again, as per the queue, as per the schedule, the processes will get executed by themselves. In this manner, we will be executing the things. Okay. Okay, and then you see, we are having the context switching problem over here. Okay, see here, allow for the execution of other processes with the physical addresses. Processes will be swapped into the same memory. If you are using the static memory allocation, we will be doing this. We will be taking out the process from your main memory, and we will be putting the processes at the same location from which we have taken that. Okay, but if you are going for the logical or else dynamical memory, we won't look at the addresses. We will be putting the instructions, putting the processes wherever we want in the memory. Okay, and see in this particular one, when we are doing this, there will be a huge traffic, I can say, in order to do the context switch Okay, the limitation of swapping scheme is the context switching, I can say. Okay, time requires to store how much the process has been executed, what is the process control block, what is the process ID. Each and every process will be storing its own information. It will be taking a huge amount of time, I can say. This can be seen in your operating system, but in case of your mobile operating system, in case of your Android, in case of iOS, this swapping is not allowed. Why? Because they won't use this much of huge memory. They will be using the flash memory. Okay, they will be using flash memory. They won't support huge number of context switching seconds. Okay, this is how we will be using the terminology in case of memory management, like swapping, dynamic loading, dynamic linking, and sharing libraries, and logical memory address, and physical memory address. In this way we will be using the terminologies. Just do remember so that we can understand the concept that we are going to discuss in our upcoming lectures. Okay, that's it for now. I hope it is clear to you people. See you in the next one. Thank you.